Salam, and welcome to Qur'an Masterclass. Qur'an Explained. Today we continue our journey through Surah Nahl, the chapter of the bee. We'll be exploring verses 22 through 50. A powerful passage that confronts the reality of false gods, exposes the arrogance of those who reject the truth, and calls every soul back to sincere and humble submission to the one God. Stay with us. This is a passage that will move your heart and sharpen your mind. Before we dive into the verses, let's set the scene. Surah Nahl was revealed in Mecca during one of the most difficult periods for the early Muslim community. The believers were surrounded by a society deeply attached to idol worship, tribal pride, and the rejection of divine guidance. God is now addressing that society, and through it, every generation that would come after. Verse 22 opens with a declaration that cuts straight to the heart of the matter. God states that your God is one God, just one, not many, not a pantheon, not idols carved from stone or wood. One. And then comes the challenge. Those who do not believe in the next life, their hearts are in denial, and they are arrogant. Arrogance is identified here as the root cause of rejection. It's not a lack of evidence, it's pride. Why does God highlight arrogance specifically? Because arrogance is the one quality that closes the heart to truth. A person can be shown every sign, every miracle, every logical argument. And if arrogance sits in the heart, none of it will enter. This is a timeless diagnosis. The Qur'an is not just describing 7th century Arabia. It is describing a spiritual disease that exists in every era, in every culture. Verse 23 reminds us, without any doubt, God knows what they conceal and what they reveal. This is a profound statement. The disbelievers may hide their mockery, their plots, their inner rejection, but nothing is hidden from God. And then the verse adds, indeed, God does not love the arrogant. Not a mild disapproval. God does not love them. This is a serious warning. Let's pause on that phrase. God knows what they conceal and what they reveal. This applies to all of us. Every whispered doubt, every hidden intention, every private moment of sincerity or insincerity, God sees it all. This should inspire both caution and hope. Caution, because we cannot hide from God. Hope, because our private acts of faith and goodness are also seen and valued by God. When the disbelievers are asked, what has your Lord revealed? They mockingly reply, stories of the ancients. This was their dismissal of the Qur'an. They called it old folklore, recycled myths, nothing new or divine. This response reveals something important. They weren't engaging with the content. They were deflecting with ridicule. Ridicule is often the weapon of those who have no real argument. This pattern of calling divine revelation old stories or myths is not unique to that time. In every age, people have tried to reduce sacred truth to mere cultural narrative. It's just mythology. It's just tradition. It's just stories. But the Qur'an challenges this dismissal. If it were just stories, why does it move hearts so deeply? Why does it answer questions that no human author could answer? Verse 25 delivers a sobering consequence. Those who misled others will carry their own burdens on the day of resurrection, and also a portion of the burdens of those they misled, without reducing anything from the burdens of those people. This is the principle of shared accountability for misguidance. If you lead someone away from truth, you bear responsibility for that. Leadership and influence come with spiritual weight. This verse should make every person of influence pause. Teachers, leaders, content creators, parents, anyone who shapes the thinking of others carries a responsibility. If you spread falsehood, if you mock faith, if you lead people away from God, that is not consequence-free. The Qur'an is clear. You will carry a share of what you caused. And equally, if you guide someone toward truth, You share in their reward. Verse 26 takes us back through history. Those before them also plotted, and God struck at the foundations of their structure, and the roof collapsed upon them from above. This is a reference to the fate of arrogant civilizations that came before. Their plots against God's messengers ultimately destroyed them. The image is vivid. A building whose foundation is undermined, and everything collapses. History is full of empires and civilizations that rose in arrogance and fell in ruin. The Qur'an repeatedly invites us to travel the earth and see what happened to those who came before. This is not just historical trivia. It is a pattern, a divine law. Arrogance and rejection of truth lead to collapse. This was true for the people of Noah, of Ad, of Thamud, and it remains true today. Verse 27 continues, Then on the day of resurrection, God will humiliate them and say, Where are my partners for whose sake you used to oppose the believers? Those who had knowledge will say, Indeed, humiliation today and misery are upon the disbelievers. The very idols and false gods they defended will be nowhere to be found. The humiliation they caused believers in this life will be returned to them, multiplied. Where are my partners? This question on the day of resurrection is one of the most powerful rhetorical moments in the Qur'an. The idols are gone, the false gods are silent, the systems of power that people worshipped instead of God, all vanished. And those who spent their lives defending these false objects of devotion will have nothing to say. No answer, no defense, only silence and shame. Verse 28 describes the angels taking the souls of those who wronged themselves. And at that moment, those souls submit, saying, We were not doing any evil, but God knows what they used to do. This is a chilling picture. Even at the moment of death, some people are still in denial, still making excuses, still refusing to acknowledge the truth, even as the angels arrive. The human capacity for self-deception is extraordinary. People can live entire lives in wrongdoing and still convince themselves they were the good ones. I wasn't that bad. I had my reasons. Everyone else was doing it. The Quran exposes this. God knows what they used to do. Self-justification does not change reality. The record is complete. The truth is known. Verse 29 delivers the consequence. Enter the gates of hell, remaining there forever. And how wretched is the residence of the arrogant. The word used for arrogant here is the same root as before. Those who were too proud to submit. Their pride led them to a destination they never imagined. The gates of hell are described as their permanent residence, a home they chose through their choices. Now the tone shifts. The same question, What has your Lord revealed, is asked of those who are conscious of God, and their answer is completely different. Good. Everything good. They recognize the revelation as a mercy, a guidance, a gift. For those who do good in this world, there is good reward. And the home of the next life is even better. What a contrast to the fate of the arrogant. The same question, two completely different answers. The arrogant say, old stories. The God-conscious say, good, pure goodness. This contrast is deliberate. The Quran is showing us that how we receive divine guidance depends entirely on the state of our heart. The same rain that causes flowers to bloom causes mud to harden. The same revelation that opens hearts also exposes the sealed ones. Verse 31 describes the reward of the God-conscious, gardens of eternity which they will enter, beneath which rivers flow, having therein whatever they wish. This is the promise of God, and God does not break promises. The description of paradise here is not just about physical pleasure. It's about having whatever you wish, complete fulfillment, no longing left unsatisfied, no desire left unmet. Verse 32, The angels take the souls of those who are righteous, saying, "Peace be upon you. Enter paradise for what you used to do." What a contrast to verse 28. The wrongdoers were taken in denial and shame. The righteous are greeted with peace. The angels themselves welcome them. And the greeting, peace, is the very thing the righteous spent their lives pursuing and spreading. Peace. That single word carries everything. In this life, the believers sought peace. Inner peace, peace with God, peace with others. And in the next life, peace is what greets them at the door of paradise. The angels don't say, "Congratulations on your achievements," or "Well done on your status." They say, "Peace," because peace is the highest reward a soul can receive. Verse 33 challenges the disbelievers. Are they waiting for anything except that the angels should come to them, or the command of your Lord should come? This is what those before them did, and God did not wrong them, but they used to wrong themselves. The warning is clear. Don't wait until it's too late. The angels will come. The command will come. The question is, will you be ready? One of the greatest spiritual dangers is the assumption that there is always more time. I'll repent later. I'll start practicing when I'm older. I'll take faith seriously eventually. But the Qur'an warns, those before you also waited. And when the command came, it came suddenly. The door of repentance closes. The moment of choice passes. Don't let delay become your downfall. Verse 34. They were struck by the evil consequences of what they did, and they were enveloped by what they used to ridicule. The very things they mocked, the warnings, the signs, the messengers, became the very things that surrounded them in punishment. Mockery has consequences. When you ridicule truth, you are not escaping it. You are moving closer to its consequences. Verse 35 presents one of the oldest excuses in human history. The polytheists say, if God had willed, we would not have worshipped anything other than Him, neither we nor our fathers, nor would we have forbidden anything through other than Him. In other words, it's not our fault. God could have stopped us. So why blame us? This is the argument of predestination used as an excuse for moral irresponsibility. God's response to this excuse is powerful. The messengers before you were also denied. Their duty was only to convey the message clearly. God gave human beings the capacity to choose. He sent messengers to make the truth clear. The excuse of God willed it does not remove personal responsibility. You were given a mind, a conscience, and a message. What you did with them, that is on you. Verse 36 is one of the most universally significant verses in the Qur'an. God says, "We certainly sent into every nation a messenger, saying, 'Worship God and avoid false gods.' Every nation, every people. No community was left without guidance. This is a statement of divine justice. No one will be able to say on the day of resurrection that they never received a message." This verse has profound implications. It means that the core message, worship God alone, reject false gods, is not exclusive to one culture or one religion's followers. It is the universal message sent to all of humanity throughout all of history. Every prophet, in every land, carried this same essential truth. The Qur'an is the final and preserved form of that universal message. Verse 37. Even if you are eager for their guidance, God does not guide those He leaves astray, and they will have no helpers. This verse addresses the prophet directly, and through him, every person who cares deeply about others receiving guidance. You can want guidance for someone with all your heart, but ultimately, guidance is in God's hands. Your role is to convey. The result belongs to God. This is a deeply important lesson for anyone who has tried to guide a loved one, a parent, a child, a friend, and felt the pain of watching them reject the truth. The Qur'an is telling you, you are not responsible for their choice. You are responsible for your effort, your sincerity, your example. The outcome belongs to God. Release the burden of what is not yours to carry. Verse 38. They swear by God their strongest oaths that God will not resurrect one who dies. But yes, it is a true promise binding upon him, but most people do not know. The disbelievers were absolutely certain there was no resurrection. They swore by God, ironically using God's name, to deny God's power. And the Qur'an responds, it is a true promise. Resurrection is certain. The resurrection is not a maybe. It is not a philosophical possibility. The Qur'an states it as a binding promise from God. And why? The next verse will tell us. But first, notice the irony. They swore by God to deny God's power. They used the name of the very being they were rejecting to make their rejection sound more emphatic. This is the contradiction at the heart of denial. Verse 39, God will resurrect the dead so that he may make clear to them what they differed about, and so that those who disbelieved may know that they were liars. The resurrection serves a purpose. It is the moment of final clarification. Every dispute, every disagreement, every question about truth and falsehood will be resolved. The record will be set straight. Truth will be undeniable. Verse 40. When God intends a thing, his word to it is only be, and it is. This is one of the most majestic descriptions of divine power in the entire Qur'an. God does not need tools, time, or effort. He does not need to plan or prepare. He simply wills, and it exists. The resurrection that seems impossible to human minds. For God it requires nothing more than a single word. We struggle to imagine how the dead could be raised. We think of the complexity. Billions of people across all of history, their bodies returned, their souls reunited. It seems impossible, but the Qur'an reframes the question entirely. For God, there is no complexity. There is no effort. There is only will. And when God wills, it is done. Our inability to imagine it does not limit God's ability to do it. Verse 41. Those who emigrated for the cause of God after they had been wronged, we will surely settle them in this world in a good place, and the reward of the next life will be greater, if only they knew. This verse was revealed in the context of the early Muslims who were forced to leave their homes because of persecution. God promises them, I see your sacrifice. I will provide for you. And what comes next is even better. Migration, leaving your home, your family, your comfort, your security, for the sake of God is one of the greatest acts of faith. And God does not let it go unrewarded. This verse is a direct promise, good provision in this world, and an even greater reward in the next. For anyone who has sacrificed something real for the sake of their faith, this verse is speaking directly to you. Verse 42. Those who were patient and upon their Lord relied. Patience and reliance on God. These two qualities are paired together throughout the Qur'an. Patience without reliance becomes mere endurance. Reliance without patience becomes wishful thinking. Together, they form the foundation of a believer's response to hardship. You endure, and you trust that God is handling what you cannot. Verse 43. We sent before you only men to whom we revealed. So ask the people of knowledge if you do not know. This verse establishes a principle that is as relevant today as it was then. When you don't know, ask someone who does. Seek knowledge. Don't guess about matters of faith. Don't rely on assumptions or social media opinions. Go to those who have studied, who have learned, who have dedicated themselves to understanding. Ask the people of knowledge if you do not know. This single instruction has shaped Islamic civilization for over 14 centuries. It is the foundation of scholarship, of learning, of the tradition of sitting with teachers and asking questions. In an age of information overload, this principle is more important than ever. Not all sources are equal. Not all opinions are equally informed. Seek those who truly know. Verse 44. The messengers were sent with clear proofs and written scriptures, and we revealed to you the reminder, the Qur'an, so that you may make clear to the people what was revealed to them, and so that they might reflect. The Qur'an is described here as a reminder, a clarification of the essential truth that all messengers brought, and its purpose is reflection, not just recitation, not just memorization. Reflection. Verse 45. Then do those who plotted evil deeds feel secure that God will not cause the earth to swallow them, or that the punishment will not come upon them from where they do not perceive. This is a warning to those who scheme against truth and against believers. Do they feel safe? Do they think their power protects them? History has answered this question repeatedly. No power protects against God's decree. Verse 46. Or that he will not seize them during their movement, and they will not be able to escape. The punishment can come at any moment, not just when people are settled and still, but while they are in the middle of their plans, their travels, their schemes. There is no safe moment to be in a state of opposition to God. There is no window of immunity. The warning is constant. Verse 47. Or that he will not seize them with a gradual diminishment. Indeed, your Lord is kind and merciful. This is a different kind of divine response, not sudden destruction, but gradual diminishment. Slow decline. The erosion of power, health, wealth, influence, piece by piece. And then the verse ends with something unexpected. Your Lord is kind and merciful. Even in warning, God's mercy is present. He gives time. He gives chances. Verse 48. Have they not considered what God has created? Their shadows incline to the right and to the left, prostrating to God while they are humble. Even the shadows of created things bow to God. The entire creation is in a state of submission. The trees, the mountains, the animals, the very shadows cast by objects. Everything in the universe is in a natural state of worship. Only the human being, given free will, can choose to resist. This is one of the most beautiful images in the Qur'an. Look at your shadow. It moves with you, but it bows. It stretches out in prostration as the sun moves. The Qur'an is saying, even your shadow worships God. The entire physical universe is in a constant state of glorification and submission. The human being is the only creature that can choose otherwise, and that choice carries the weight of accountability. Verse 49. To God prostrates whatever is in the heavens, and whatever is on the earth of moving creatures, and the angels as well. And they are not arrogant. The angels, beings of pure light, of immense power, they prostrate. They are not arrogant. And the creatures of the earth, they prostrate. The entire created order is in submission. The one who refuses to submit is going against the grain of all existence. Verse 50. They fear their Lord above them, and they do what they are commanded. The angels fear God, not out of terror, but out of profound awe and reverence. They know who God is. They have witnessed His majesty, and that knowledge produces complete, willing obedience. This is the model of submission, not reluctant compliance, but willing, loving, awe-filled obedience to the one who deserves it most. And so we reach the end of this passage, verses 22 through 50 of Surah Nahl. What a journey, from the arrogance of those who reject God, to the fate of civilizations that fell, to the universal message sent to every nation, to the entire universe bowing in submission. This passage calls every one of us to examine our hearts. Are we among those who submit willingly? Or are we resisting the very nature of our own existence? May God make us among those who hear the truth, accept it, and live by it. Until next time, Salam.